The dumbbell clean is a great exercise when it comes to producing power, specifically producing power from our lower legs going all the way to our arms. This is very important when it comes to athletic movements such as jumping in a vertical plane. It also is important as we continue to age that we challenge ourselves to produce power. Power is one of those things. It is use it or lose it. So this is an exercise that will definitely help us stay powerful. The dumbbell clean, there are lots of smaller details to focus on, things that you can fine tune, things that you can tweak. Everybody has just a little bit of maybe a different approach, but I want to go over the heavy hitters today on your performance. So use this video as a resource. When it comes to the dumbbell clean, again, it is a power movement where my legs are producing the power and my power is transferring all the way to my arms. So great coordination exercise. We want to think about really three phases: your start position, your tall position, and then your finish position. So as we talked about in our start position, our legs are the main drivers here. So I want my feet to start out shoulder width apart, right underneath my shoulders. A very important concept in producing power is through your feet. So as I am in my start position, I'll have a nice mini squat, quarter squat. I don't necessarily want to go full depth squat. We want to be efficient. If we're going deeper into the squat, we may have energy leaks. So we want to be in a nice quarter squat position here. But my feet are going to attack the ground. It's a very challenging concept for some people, but I want to think about my entire foot making contact with the ground. And as I do, when I push into the ground, my body is going to come up. Now, it is not me jumping. So when I'm jumping, I think about pushing through my big toes. For this, I want to think about my whole foot attacking the ground, allowing my momentum and power to be created, okay? So again, feet shoulder width apart, nice quarter squat, start position. I'm going to drive my feet into the ground. As I do, my knees are going to straighten, and most importantly, my hip is going to extend or straighten. And that's very important when it comes to transferring the power that you created in your feet and allowing that to go into your arms on our tall and finished position. So in slow motion, I'm pushing, my arms are nice and loose. As I'm pushing through the ground, my knees, my hips straighten. And then finally, I want to think about being in a tall position. So I'm going to allow my arms to be loose. And as I get into my tall position, my shoulders are going to shrug. So putting all of those together, I'm here, nice quarter squat position, attacking the floor and shrugging. Again, quarter squat position, arms are nice and loose, attack the floor and shrug, okay? From that tall position, so we have our start, we have our tall position, and a great challenge for you would be to break these parts individually. So once I'm into my tall position, I'm on my toes, my shoulders are nice and tall. I want to go into my finish. My finish position, I'm going to bring my elbows in line with my shoulders, dumbbells to shoulders, and then if you notice, I'm in that like quarter squat position that I started. So again, I'm tall here. I'm going to scoop my elbows forward, and as I do, I'm sitting back into my start position, okay? Ideally, the dumbbells are staying as close to your body as possible. So as you do that, your elbows may be coming forward, but we want that dumbbell to track into a nice straight line. So let's put all of the pieces together. Again, we're in our nice start position. We go tall and into our finish, okay? So in real time, I'm going to show you a couple different looks on this. three of the most common errors that we see with the dumbbell clean. The first is that, remember we talked about the importance of your hip getting into that nice tall extended position. So the first common error that we see, and probably the most common, is a failure to get your hips straight. So what that looks like is this right here. So my butt stays back. The reason that this can be a challenge is by not extending your hips, your legs are creating the momentum, but it kind of stops at your hips. And then your arms are having an extra responsibility to bring the weights up because that power that has been generated at a break point. So again, remember as you do this to keep your hips in that tall, straight position, especially when you get to that tall phase. The second most common thing that we'll see is people who are swinging the weights out in front of you to catch, swinging it out in front of you, getting long with your arms. The issue with that is as the weights come away from your body, you're having a lot of extra stress in your shoulders, your biceps pulling the weight up, and a little extra tension in your back. So again, we want to be efficient with this movement. We don't want to add extra stress and strain on muscles that aren't designed to do it on this exercise. So make sure that you keep that straight line drive with the dumbbell so that you're not getting that extra muscle activation. And then finally, the third most common error that we see is people who keep your shoulders down the entire time. So as I'm doing this, I'm bringing the weights up, keeping my shoulders down. I think it's engraved in our brains for many exercises to keep your shoulders low, to not bring your shoulders up towards your ears, because that can get some extra strain in your muscle. But for this exercise, we want to allow that power to go all the way up into your shoulders so that you can get into that nice finish position. So as you do this, I would encourage you to let your arms relax all the way up, and so when your shoulders shrug up toward your ears, again, that's going to allow that momentum to come all the way through. What I would encourage you on this exercise is grab a friend, grab a coach, someone who can give you some feedback on your performance. You also, similar to what we did in this video, could video yourself in different angles. I know that there's a lot of information, a lot to look at. I would encourage you to take one piece at a time. So focus maybe on your feet or your knees or your hips. Focus on an area of your body. Focus on one of the phases, getting to the tall phase, going from the tall phase to your finish. If you break it up into smaller pieces, this exercise becomes a lot more manageable and a lot more fun. Give it a try.